Right, I'm going to very quickly show you how to swap the ROMs in the BBC Macro. I looked online and couldn't find the thing I wanted. This is an RGB lead that I've made up. RGB to SCART with a jack socket for the audio and an extension jack socket on the bead so that I can play the audio through the TV and have the volume control. 2 fixing screws on the back. Some just replaced the screws at some point with not the original ones. Once I've finished repairing this machine, I'll replace them with original ones. So that's how I like it. 2 more fixing screws underneath, helpfully marked to fix. Hopefully when you turn the machine over you don't hear bits falling around inside. If you do, then might be a little bit more involved than this machine. That's those. Take those out. This should then lift off. It's worth having a check and making sure that there's no wires, because sometimes things are stuck to the inside of the case from the motherboard. Pop that down. Right, somebody's also replaced the ribbon cable for the keyboard at some point on this one. To remove it, wiggle up very gently there. These can be very stiff on an old BBC that hasn't been taken apart recently. This one has been apart, so it's not too bad. And we need to remove these little nuts and bolts for the keyboard. Same on the other end. There's a few different designs of keyboard. They're all basically the same and all connect, I think all connect with a nut and bolt at each end. So I can lift this off. The speaker will be connected to a connector there. Let's say I put the jack plug in so that if there's nothing plugged into it, the sound comes out of the speaker. If there is, it comes out of the lead and goes to the TV. So I'll put that, balance that carelessly on there. This one's already got the ROM in, but I'm going to, so I'll just replace one that's already here to show you how to do it. So you need to press that end of the chip slightly. The other end of the chip slightly. Try and keep it level so you don't bend the pins. Try not to touch the pins. Sure, grounding yourself to earth is probably good at this point. So, as I said, I've already got the chip in here. So when you put it in, you want to make sure that the legs are nice and straight, all evenly spaced. If they're splayed out, then you can just hold it on a hard surface and kind of roll the legs straight. This one's already straight, so we don't need to. And put it back, notch at the top. Try and line up one set of legs in the hole, and then make sure the other set are going into the hole and not down the side of the socket. Make sure none off the top or the bottom, and then push it home nice and straight. That's all there is to it. Just have a look, make sure nothing else has fallen out while we're in here. This board's got a few mods that probably for broken tracks or ancient repairs. We'll pop the little connector back so we've got the pins on this side. Goes nearest to us, otherwise it won't fit past the little blue capacitor there. I'll just dangle that out the back at the moment because I haven't mounted it yet. We'll try and put this back, lining it up with the little holes. Pop the bolt back through. So I will be taking this apart again to do some more work on it, probably later tonight, so we don't need to do these up too tight. Unless your BBC gets a lot of rattling. Probably won't need to do them very tight either. Back through the other end there, just line it up, hold it, screw it on. It's easier said than done. Okay. All done. Oh, we've got the keyboard cable. I want to make sure that it's lined up centrally. Make sure there's no pins getting bent or sticking out either end. Push that home. So someone's replaced it with a bit of ribbon cable, but it seems to do the job. When you put the cover on, you want to make sure the metal grips for the screws are on the back, and line the LEDs up with the holes in the case, otherwise you'll bend your LEDs and then you'll be taking it apart again to fix them. So having done that, then just pop these back in, maybe a little wiggle to fit it in the hole, do that up, do this end up. So there's not the right screwdriver for these screws, it's the right screwdriver for the proper screws. Just flip that over there. Two fixed screws back in. Seem to have an extra screw hole here. Not exactly sure what that was for. Didn't find anything inside it. We also have a missing foot. I'll put one of those on before I take it on show. Those up. Just get another one of these while we're here. This is the little MMC devices that I build. This one's got a slope on it, so it'll fit a BBC or a master, because the master has got a narrower slot here. Just put this in, we make sure the user port, make sure the legs are wide, line it up nice and straight, just push it in gently. Once these clips have started to come in, we can just push them all the way. Just make sure it's solid in there, as that seems to be. Pop that back over. Pop in the RGB, and I'll put the audio, I'll leave it disconnected for a moment. Right, I'll just move things around and see if it worked. Right, here we go, just moved things a bit so we can see what's going on. RGB's in, if we turn the power on, get the usual beep, BBC, Smart SPI. That's the ROM pretending to be the DFS. If we do a star help, we'll see this has also got text-to-speech chip, and the speech chip and the DFS here isn't actually the DFS. It's the Smart SPI pretending to be an Acorn DFS, and we can see that with the DUtils. Start H.D. and we get the SPI version number and all the commands that we've got there. So if we do a star dcat, we'll put space 22, which will list the first 22 discs. There we are, so on the first 22 discs we have a menu. Disc 0 will be the default disc to start. There's some games that I've written on here, and the Stairway to Hell archive. So we can hear the Control G, we can hear the sound that comes out of the speaker. If I take this and connect it into my jack socket, which eventually will be mounted in the ventilation slot on the BBC without drilling any holes or causing any damage, hopefully. Now we should hear that the tone's changed and the sound's coming out of the TV, so now we can use the TV as a volume control. If we shift brake, we'll get the menu that I put on there for shows, and just to make sure it's working, we'll try Frogger. There's a problem on this LCD that it doesn't hold the horizontal sync properly with normal sync pulse width, but we'll ignore that. I'll just restart that. Shift brake to get the menu again, and we'll go for number 5, which was the normal archive disc here. So here you can cursor left and right to change pages. You can tab and a letter to jump straight to those letters. We can go to, I wish this would stay on screen, we'll be able to see what we're doing. Chucky Egg. And if I can remember how to tell it that we're not on a tape. it'd be okay. But anyway, as you can see, all working, and much quicker than the floppy drive, less hassle, and all the discs you could ever want already on there. And that would be the end of this video.